All right, so get set up, whether you're sitting or laying. If you need to use any props for underneath of the body, if you're laying down or sitting, please do so. I want you to get as comfortable as you can. And once you're ready, start to close your eyes to the room. Sorry, making sure my volume was up. All right, once you close your eyes to the room, just take a moment to settle in. So take one deep breath. And see if you can start to let go of any tension that you might be holding on to. And see if you can start to let go of those distractions and stories that you brought in with you, that you brought to your mat. And it's easy for our minds to become distracted, to wander. But each time that happens, it's okay to notice it, but then redirect that awareness right back in, right into this present moment, to this space on your mat, to what's happening in your body and what you're feeling. So it's a great way to just redirect and check back in. And so wherever you are on the mat, just begin to lengthen the spine gently. As you lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, relax the hands and the feet, and really relax the jaw. So creating a little space between that top and bottom row of teeth. Allow the eyes and the forehead to soften. And start to connect with your breathing. So start to notice your natural flow of breath in and out. Now start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Your inhale, you'll start to deepen and lengthen it. And on your exhale, see if you can really let all the air out, getting rid of the old stagnant air. And then on the next inhale, invite that new, fresh wave of breath to come into the body. And just follow this deep breathing for a few rounds. One more deep breath, and then start to engage your core by drawing your navel up and back towards the spine. As you create a little bit of abdominal engagement, make sure you're still soft in the rest of the body, but the spine is just gently lengthened, and come back to that deep breath. One more deep breath. And allow your hands to come into that Anjali Mudra, just prayer position. The palms coming together and the thumbs finding the chest. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep that jaw softened. And just begin to set an intention for your practice. Finding maybe a word or a phrase that calls to you. Maybe a dedication to someone else who needs this practice. Dedicate it to them. Honor what comes up. Never feel rushed, but once you have set that intention, just repeat it back to yourself one more time. And then exhale, release the hands, and start to open the eyes back to the room. Good. If you're sitting up, just gently come down onto your back. Make sure you have a little bit of room, so if you have props around you or things around you, just give yourself a little space. And as you come down onto the mat, lengthen the whole body. So reach the arms up and overhead. Begin to point the toes in the opposite direction. So it's like you're being pulled from one end to the other. And then exhale, draw the arms down by the sides as the toes point up. Good. Full body stretch once again. Reach those arms back, point those toes, feel the body being pulled from one end to the other. And then exhale, arms come down and toes point right back up. Good. One more time. So give yourself that stretch you might be craving. If you need a little side stretching to the shoulders or through the body, that's okay. Sometimes even the hips need a little extra shimmy or move to stretch. And once you're done, arms come back down, toes point right back up. Good. Now draw the feet onto the mat. And then draw the knees in towards the chest. Wrap the arms around those legs. You can give yourself a hug by lifting the head up if that feels comfortable, but you don't have to. And when you're ready, a little rock side to side, just noticing how those muscles feel as they come on and off of the mat. Sometimes it feels like a little massage, but sometimes you might notice points that have a little bit of a trigger or might feel tense. Good. Once you come slowly back to center, come into stillness. Keep the knees in. Draw the arms out at T. As the arms come out at T, palms can be up or down, but if the palms are down, try not to grip the hands into the floor, but just soften them first by spreading the hands and then releasing. Soften the shoulders, engage the core, and create a little bit of engagement through the feet. Draw those heels up a little bit so the ankles are in line with the knees. Good. Now take your right hand, grab a hold of the left thigh, and allow it to help guide those legs over towards your right side. Good. Re-engage the feet. Arms come back out at T and gaze at the opposite direction. Inhale, draw those knees back up to center. Realign, re-engage, readjust if you need to. Left arm grabs a hold of the right thigh, helping to guide those legs down and over to your left side. Once those legs find that side, arms come back out at T, re-engage the feet, and gaze over at the right hand. Good. Inhale, use your core, draw those legs back up to center. Good. Now just do this at your own pace. You can use the core to gently lower the legs or use the arm to help guide them down. It's your choice. You can always gaze at the opposite arm, but if it's too much through the shoulders or through the neck, it's okay to keep it back at center. Then when you're ready, you'll just come back up to center, head and feet and hips. Realign, re-engage, and do the same thing going to the opposite side. So take your time, check in, breathe deep. The next time your legs come over to the right, come into a place of stillness. Breathe deep. Check into what you're feeling and what's happening on this side. One more deep breath, come back up to center. Realign, readjust, re-engage. And then allow yourself to come over to the left. Come into a place of stillness. Breathe deep. Check in. One more deep breath. Then draw those legs back up to center. Good. Then wrap the arms around the legs. Give yourself a little hug if you want. And then one more little rock side to side once the head comes back to the mat. Maybe notice how different the body feels after that first rock to this time. Does the low back feel different? Do the hips or even the shoulders? Good. Now you can slow the movement coming back to stillness, back at center. You can keep the hands on the legs or you can draw them back out at T. It's your choice. Add a little bit of engagement through the feet and then just go in a circle around the hips. Keep using your core and don't let the movement become quick. So slow the breath and slow the movement. So it's more mindful and it's more intentional. Keep breathing. Don't hold the breath as you move. And just notice which direction you're going in, because we'll switch it up in a minute. Keep the jaw relaxed, keep the shoulders relaxed, and keep from gripping the hands. One more circle. So the next time that they come in towards the belly, towards the chest, pause. You can wrap the arms back around for one quick little hug if that feels good, but then release the head back down, whether hands are staying on knees or back out at T. Get into that position, re-engage the core and the feet, and begin to go in the opposite circle direction. And sometimes we go, wait, which circle, which way? Just go your natural way and then switch that up. Again, keep the breath deep, keep the movement slow, intentional. One more circle with those legs, with those knees. When they come back into the belly and towards the chest, pause. Allow the body to be back on the mat and wrap the arms back around. You can lift the head up for that last little stretch if that feels good. Then release the feet down onto the mat. Reach the arms up and overhead. As you reach the arms up and overhead, interlace the hands. And start to go in circles with the arms. So they'll come down one side, around the belly, and then up and over the opposite side to come back up over the head. So just continue with these circles, breathing deep and letting the head just kind of rock along with those arms as they move. And one more movement with the arms. And the next time they come up and overhead, slow that movement. And just switch. So whatever finger is in front is now going to be behind the other finger. And it feels awkward. And it takes a second sometimes. So just go your normal way and then go, okay, I have to rotate over. All right, opposite direction of your circle, same thing. It's kind of like those hands. We go, wait, what do we do? Just begin to go which way feels comfortable and then switch up that direction. Keep breathing deep and keep allowing the body to just kind of roll and relax along with those arms as they go in the circle. So the head may want to move. Good. One more movement through the arms. When they come up and overhead, release those arms, draw them out at T. Create a nice straight line from one fingertip into the shoulder, from the other shoulder out through the fingertip. And then walk the feet wide. So we're just going to do windshield wipes. Tuck the chin in slightly, a little bit of core engagement to help protect that low back. Allow the feet to be where they feel comfortable, either maybe on the long edges, maybe a little bit closer towards each other or a little bit further away from those edges of the mat. Good. Deep breath in and exhale, knees lower to the right, look over to the left. And you might notice this feels different than when we had the legs stacked. Inhale, come back up to center. So just notice what your body is feeling. Exhale, lower to the left, gaze to the right. Good. Allow yourself to flow through these windshield wipes, breathing, connecting, and checking in. All right. The very next time those knees come over to the right, pause there. Do not feel rushed to get there. So take your time, keep breathing deep, keep connecting. And then once you get into the position, check in, find your effort, but also find where you can let go of tension, areas that need softening like shoulders and the jaw. Maybe the hands are gripping, let them relax. One more deep breath, and then come back up to center. Take a moment to readjust, to realign, to re-engage. And when you're ready, exhale over to the left. Find your effort, find your ease. Check in, connect, breathe. Good. One more deep breath, and then come back to center. As you come back to center, walk the feet in closer, but not to fully touch. And then walk those heels closer in towards your sitting bones. Draw the arms down by your side. Engage the core, engage the thighs slightly, but not to fully touch. And inhale, start to lift your hips up and off of the mat. Once they come up, if you want to draw the shoulders a little bit deeper underneath of the body, you can. And then exhale, slowly release one vertebrae down and onto the mat. So it's like your back is just slowly rolling down. Good. Re-engage the thighs, re-engage the core, pressing the feet down into the mat, the shoulders, lift the hips up and off of the mat. Push those knees forward, tuck the chin. Exhale, slowly release one vertebrae back down at a time. Good. You're going to do this a few more times. Inhale, lift the hips gently up and off of the mat. You can always tuck those shoulders under if that feels comfortable. Then exhale, slowly release one vertebrae down at a time. All right, one last time, lift your hips gently up. As the hips come up, interlace the hands underneath of the body. Maybe really draw the shoulders a little bit deeper, or maybe you want to grab a hold of the ankles if that's there for you. But just find what feels good. Be here for about 3 deep breaths. At the end of that 3rd breath, feel slowly rolling the back down, just like you have before. And then you'll draw the knees in, and you'll wrap those arms around. You can lift the head up for that little stretch if you want. And just give yourself a little rock side to side. Good. Notice how the back feels, how you feel. Then come into stillness at center. Wrap one ankle to either rock up or roll to one side. But come on up to a seated posture. All right. Once you're in your seated posture, see if you can draw the feet together into round angle. So the knees are wide. Make any adjustments you might need. So if you have like blankets near you, sometimes it's comfortable to draw them underneath of those knees. Sometimes we have blocks. You can also use them underneath of the knees. And for some reason, we all feel that we have to have those heels in as close as we can. But sometimes you get a better foundation and you get more of a stretch when they're in a more neutral position away from the body. All right. Lift and lengthen back up through the spine. Move those sitting bones if you need to. Soften the shoulders. Start to reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale. See if you can fold towards those feet, towards the floor. Don't hold the hands or the shoulders up. Let them relax. Tuck the chin in a little bit here. And then inhale, walk the hands in towards the legs and then reach them back up and overhead. Good. Exhale, fold back into your legs once again. We're going to do this a few rounds, so just start to follow it at your own breath, at your own pace. Don't feel like you have to keep up with me. When you come up, the arms lengthen, and exhale, you just fold towards the front. Good, 2 more times. You might notice, ooh, my hips are starting to open up a little bit deeper. Maybe you get a little closer towards the floor each time. Just notice what's happening. Maybe even that low back is feeling good after everything we did. Come into stillness this next time you come into your fold. Breathe deep. Come into a place where you're not drawing any tension into the body. So if you need to ease up a little bit, that's okay. If you need to draw those feet forward a little bit, that is okay. Good. One more deep breath and then slowly walk it back up. Good. Draw those legs together just for a moment to notice how it feels, and then lengthen them onto the mat. All right, as they lengthen onto the mat, draw the right knee in. Good. Then open up that knee to your right side. Left heel is ground it down as the toes point up. Good. Reach the arms out at T. All right. Take your left hand, start to draw it down onto the mat. Keep pushing this right hip down. Reach up with the left arm, gazing a little bit towards that right arm so that the right shoulder is also drawing back. Just makes it a little easier. And try not to draw that left shoulder up towards the ears, but kind of drawing it down so the elbow is acting as though it's coming down towards the mat. Good. Inhale, come back up using your core. Arms out at T. Draw the arms down. Draw that right leg in. Lengthen it. Left leg in. Open up the knee. Right heel down, toes pointing up. Arms back out at T. Keep grounding this left leg down the best you can. Start to rotate over to the right. Reach up with the left arm, gazing up, but pulling that shoulder back a little bit. And this right elbow is drawing down to help draw that shoulder away from the ear. Good. Inhale, come back up. Arms out at T and then relax. Draw that leg in and lengthen. So you're just going to do this going side to side. You'll first draw one leg in, open up the hip so the knee opens, arms come out, and whatever knee is bent, that opposite arm comes down. Reaching up with the right, keep pushing and grounding down through that right leg, and draw that left elbow down so you're not drawing the shoulder up. Good, so go at your own pace. Don't feel rushed. Just breathe and connect with the movement. Good, don't feel rushed, but the very next time you come over to your right leg, come into a place of stillness. As I'm doing the left, I'm finishing up one last round. Good. Just continue to breathe. Once this right leg comes down, you come over to the left and stay here. Check in. Good. Come back up. Keeping the legs where they are on this right side, reach the arms up, and just give yourself one little fold. It'll feel good on the back, on the side, and it just feels good to kind of give that leg a little extra stretch. Good. Gently walk it back up and switch your leg. Right leg comes in and lengthens. Left leg comes in, comes down to the side. And know that it's okay if you did the opposite side. Arms come back out at T. Right hand comes down, reach up with the left. Draw that right elbow down so it's drawing the shoulder away from the ear. And breathe deep. Good, one more deep breath. And when you come back to center, reach the arms up and fold into that leg. Good, soften the arms, relax the neck. Take a few deep breaths here. Good, then slowly walk it up. Good. All right, you can lengthen out the legs if you want a little wiggle, just because sometimes it feels good after moving through hips and that fold. But when you're ready, you're gonna come to hands and knees. But if you need to use a blanket or add extra padding with your mat, please do so that those knees are being taken care of. Also, if the wrists are sensitive, please feel free to come down on the forearms. We won't be here too long. We're just gonna do a little movement into child's pose. So allow yourself to set up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Top to the feet, ground it down, hands spread to lengthen through the shoulders. Create a nice flat back and gaze down at the hands. Deep breath in. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine. Draw your toes together, let your knees start to come wide to the long edges of your mat. Then the hips slowly start to sink down towards your heels as the head comes as best it can towards the mat. Maybe you can use the hands for the head or let the arms relax here, or maybe you want to go a little deeper and let the arms come by your side. Good. Lengthen, draw those arms back out in front of you, either coming onto forearms or back up onto hands. Come back to hands and knees and draw the knees back underneath of the hips. All right, one more time. Tuck the chin, round the spine, slowly begin to go back into a normal child's pose this time. So the knees don't come that wide, you just draw back and notice how that feels. Do you feel restriction? Do you feel a different sensation through the low back or through the leg? Arms can come in whatever direction feels good. And breathe deep. Lengthen the arms back out in front of you. Come back up to hands and knees or forearms. All right, one more time with knees wide. Toes together, knees wide, tuck the chin, round the spine. Hips start to sink down towards your heels. Relax the head towards the mat. Maybe use the hands for the head to relax onto, or draw the arms in whatever direction that feels comfortable. Lengthen, reach those arms back out in front of you. Come back up to forearms or onto hands and knees. Sorry, or onto hands. So you're back on your tabletop. And I lied, we'll actually do this movement one more time. So go back into your child's pose without moving the legs wide and just notice how that feels. So we did closed hips twice, we did open hips twice. All right, come back up to hands and knees or onto the forearms. Good. The easiest way for you to start to come into your down dog, curling toes, using the core, over the knees, and then lift those legs up. So either forearms are down or onto hands. Pedal out those heels for a quick movement. We won't be here long. And sometimes it feels good to get that stretch out through those legs. Good. Then hop or walk the feet to meet the hands so you come into a forward fold. And when you come into this forward fold, adjust, settle in, and look down at the feet. Make sure that they're parallel with each other, but they're also underneath of the hips. A little bend in the knee is okay. Soften out the shoulders, a little yes and no with the neck. Good. Now draw your hands onto the legs, either shins, maybe thighs, or even on the fingertips, but come up to a flat back. Drawing the shoulders together a little bit, gazing down, and release out of that flat back, that half lift. Good. If you need a little release to the neck and shoulders, do it one more time. And then we're going to come into chair. So start to bend your knees, sink the hips down and back. The chest starts to peel up as the arms frame your ears. A little bit of thigh engagement. Good. Then push on up, arms come around and into prayer. Good. From prayer, reach the arms back up and overhead. Engage the core, tilt the pelvic here. If you want to come into a slight back bend, allow it. But keep using the core, keep tilting the pelvic. And then exhale, start to fold back in towards your legs. Make sure your feet didn't realign or readjust, so notice where they are. Soften shoulders, flat back, half lift. Drawing shoulders together, gazing down, breathe. Then release back into those legs completely. Come into chair, bending knees, sinking hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame. Use your core. This is one of those poses that loves to overarch. And come on up to stand. Arms come into prayer. Good. Arms lengthen and lift one more time. Engage the core. Tilt the pelvic if you want that slight back bend. And then exhale, fold right back into your legs once again. Good. Now start to walk your feet wide. They might find the long edges. Maybe they come a little bit closer, a little bit wider, just like in windshield wipes. Now keep your heels in, but draw the toes out a little bit. So it's almost like 10 and 2. Bend your knees enough so the hands come down to the mat, or maybe you have a block there. That's okay. You can use that too. Now slowly sink your hips down and back so you come into what we call a yoga squat. Hands can either be here by the feet to open up those hips a little bit deeper, or maybe you can draw them into prayer. Good. Breathe. See if you can, what wants to happen is we want to come in, see if you can come to the outer edge of those feet, the pinky and the heel. Good. Hands down. Draw the hips slowly back up. And then heel toe. Your feet come right back underneath of your hips. They're parallel once again with each other. Come up to your half lift. Good. Fold back into those legs. Come into chair, bending your knees, sinking your hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame. Then come on up to stand, hands come into prayer. From prayer, reach those arms back up and overhead. Tilt the pelvic, use your core, come into that back bend. And then fold into your legs. This is where you can soften and release if you need to. All right, get ready for yoga squat. Walk the feet wide. Find your position. Maybe you want to be a little closer, a little wider. Heels in, toes out. Bend those knees so the hands find your floor, find the mat, find the block. Slowly start to draw those hips down. Hands can either come in by the thighs, by the feet to open up the thighs with the arms, or you can draw the hands into prayer and even use those to help open up those hips. Again, come to the outer edge of the feet the best you can. Breathe. Good. Hands down, hips up. Heel toe, walk those feet back underneath of your hips. Find your foundation once again, and do not feel rushed through these movements. Come up to your half lift, your flat back. Exhale, fold into your legs. Come into your chair, bending knees, sinking hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame. Good, come up to stand, arms around and into prayer. Reach those arms up and overhead, engage the core, tilt the pelvic, slight back bend, and then fold into your legs. All right, last yoga squat. So come into a place where you feel comfortable. Heels in, toes out. You're gonna let those hands come onto a position where you can start to slowly draw the hips down and back. Hands can help or arms can help to open up those hips. And just breathe. You're gonna be here for a few breaths. See if you can draw the shoulders away from the ears, maybe even drawing them onto the back. It might even help to open up those hips just a little deeper. But don't attach if you can't do it or you're like, what? That's okay. Two more deep breaths. At the end of that second breath, hands come back down to the floor if they're not there already. Lift those hips back up and heel toe. Draw those feet back in line with your hips, parallel with each other. Good. Now start to shift your weight to your right foot and draw the left foot back behind you. As that left foot comes back behind you, start to draw that knee down. If you need a blanket or to create more padding, give yourself that time. Good. Uncurl the toe or keep the toes curled. It's entirely up to you, but just make sure that this front leg, the knee, is not tracking over the ankle. So you have a nice 90-degree happening. Good. Now, take your right hand, draw it in towards the inner side of that right foot, and then start to walk your right foot over to the right. So it gets closer to the edge. Maybe it goes to the edge, maybe even goes a little wider. Notice where your pinky and your heel is, and start to open that hip so you kind of round and roll over onto that side. Good. Then inhale, draw that knee gently back in. The foot is fully back on the floor. Good. Then start to open up that foot and that hip. Good. Then draw it gently back in. Good. Do this a few more times. Open up. And then draw it back in. Good. Go at your own pace. One more time. Open up and pause here. You can stay on the hands. Sometimes it's a little, it's a lot of weight. So if you want to come down to forearms, you can as well. If you're someone who has a lot of flexibility, you can come down even further. Just continue to breathe deep. If that back knee starts to bother you, it's okay to curl the toe. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe deep. Good. Come back up to hands if you were on forearms. Keep the leg where it is. Start to bend the back knee. And then slowly draw the foot back down to the floor. You can curl the toe here or keep it uncurled. It's your choice. Then inhale, slowly come up. You should be like right above the knee on that back leg if you can. And then slowly come back down. Good. So it's just going to work a little bit of movement here. Good. And then release the foot down. Good. All right. Draw that thigh back in. And now, this is where it gets a little tricky. Walk your left hand forward just a little bit. Start to walk your right foot over to the left. So you come into pigeon. Again, curl the back toe if you need to, but lengthen out. Don't fall down onto the right hip. Keep lifting and lengthening. I'm just trying to show. Like it's almost like you're floating. All right, so hands on the mat. Breathe. Go down to forearms if that feels good. Notice how that stretches. Don't fall down onto that right hip. Keep lifted. Keep trying to draw the left hip down. Maybe that'll help. If you want to go even further, you can come all the way down onto the mat, releasing those forearms. Honor where you are in your pigeon, where it feels good and what you need. But continue to breathe deep. Good. One more deep breath. Slowly come back to forearms and then hands, lifting back up into your pigeon. And since we did it on the other side, or on that last movement, lizard, we're going to do the same thing. Start to lift that back leg and slowly draw the foot back down. Good. Slowly lift that back leg. Slowly draw the foot back down. Good. A few more times, just stretching. You might notice you're feeling it in the hip and that SI joint. You might even just be feeling it in areas that need that extra little stretch that's not getting it. All right, one last time. Maybe keep the foot lifted. Breathe. All right, release the foot. If you had anything drawn underneath of that right hip, remove it, but then come down onto the right hip. Start to swing that left leg around. Maybe it comes to the outer edge of that right leg if it can. If it can't, that's okay. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. All right. Right arm comes around that left leg, either wrapping it this way or maybe a little deeper by drawing the elbow on the outer edge. The arm comes behind you. Breathe deep. This can be so yummy after doing all those hip openers. The low back's like, oh yeah, thank you. Good, release. If you want the counter stretch, you can, but you don't have to. And when you come back to center, lengthen out those legs and give them a little wiggle. So thank you. And then we get to work on the next side. All right, come back to hands and knees. Come into down dog. You won't be here long, so just allow yourself to give yourself any little movements, the pedaling. You might even be like, ooh, that one side feels totally different, so just be aware of that. Then when you're ready, come into your forward fold position by walking or hopping those feet to meet the hands. Adjust, get yourself set up. Good. Come up to a half lift, flat back, gazing down, shoulders together. Use your core, draw it in, and gently release into those legs. Come into chair, bending your knees, sinking the hips down and back. Chest peels up as the arms frame. Then come on up to stand as arms come around and into prayer. From prayer, reach the arms back up and overhead. Engage the core, tilt the pelvic, slight back bend. Then exhale, fold back into those legs. Good, come into a yoga squat. Walk the feet wide, heels in, toes out. Bend those knees, hands down, hips start to lower. Either using the hands to open up the hips or join the hands into prayer. Breathe. Notice how different. Maybe you're like, this feels different. This is a lot easier. This is great. Draw the hands down, lift the hips up, heel toe, walk those feet back underneath. We're going to do this one more round. So when you're ready, flat back, half lift. and release. Good. Chair, sinking hips down and back, chest peeling up, arms to frame. Use your core. This is an overarching position, just happened. Then come on up to stand, hands in prayer. Reach those arms up and overhead. Tuck the tailbones, slight back bend, keep using the core. And then exhale, fold back into your legs. All right, yoga squat. Feet wide, heels in, toes out. Hands down by bending knees. Draw those hips down and back. Either hands by the feet to open up those hips or hands in prayer. Good. Release the hands down. Lift the hips up. Heel toe, walk those feet back in. Beautiful. All right. Now when you're ready, you're going to shift the weight over to your left side. So now the right foot comes back behind you. As that foot comes back, again, just check in. Make sure you're not tracking over the ankle, and then draw the heel down, or draw the knee down. And again, check back in. Make sure you have that 90-degree. Walk that foot back. Now take your left hand, draw it in towards that left foot. Start to walk the foot wide. Good. And I'm just going to show you guys from a different direction. All right, walk the foot wide. Then come out to the outer edge of the pinky and the heel. Begin to open that hip. Good. Then draw the hip back in. Then open that hip again. Good. Just continue to do that a few times. You did it on the other side. Just might feel different. You might feel tighter. You might be like, oh, I got a little more flexibility on this side. Or maybe it's just different sensations altogether. Good. A few more times, opening and closing. Good. And then once you open, you can either stay on the hands, maybe you have a block and come onto forearms with that, or maybe you can come down to the floor onto forearms. Maybe you can go even deeper. Go where you feel comfortable and breathe deep. All right, come on to hands if you're not there already. I'm just going to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So as you're opening on this side and you're lengthening that opposite leg, start to bend that back knee. And again, make sure you're not all on the knee. So if you come back down and need to lengthen that leg a little bit, that's okay. All right, bend that knee. Come back down. Good, bend that knee. Come back down. One last time. Bend that knee. Good, and then come back down. All right, draw that left leg in. And then walk the right hand forward a little bit so you can start to walk the left foot over to the right. You start to set up into pigeon on this other side. So this is what it looks like. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to be on the mat because my back knee wants a padding. All right, so once you're in pigeon, stay here. Just make sure you're not falling down onto that left hip. Keep it lifted. If it helps, draw the right hip down the best you can. Either stay here, just drawing shoulders away from the ears. Maybe come down onto forearms. Again, try to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Or you can come all the way down onto the mat. Get comfortable, set up, and breathe deep in your pigeon. One more deep breath. And then slowly begin to lift back up. As you lift back up, make sure again you don't fall over onto that left side. Be in a spot where you can almost kind of float onto those hips. Make sure that back leg is lengthened because we're going to bend the knee. And then draw the foot back down. So you're just going to do this a few times. You did it last time. Just notice how different it feels. Good. One more time and pause. Just breathe. Draw shoulders away. Keep lifting and lengthening. And draw your core in to protect that low back. Good. Foot down to the floor. Now, if you have anything underneath that left hip, move it. Come on down. Swing that right leg around. So you start to come into this little bit of a pretzel-like movement. Foot either on the outer edge or right in front. The left arm either wraps around the knee like a little hug, or come onto the outer edge. Arm comes behind and twist. Breathe. Again, it feels yummy after what we just did. Good. Come back. If you want that counter twist, give yourself that counter twist. And then come back, start to untangle and lengthen, wiggle, give those legs a little movement. Good. Notice how they're feeling, how you're feeling. All right. Hands and knees. From hands and knees, the easiest way for you, if you're already on forearms, it's a little easy, but just begin to walk the hands forward a little bit. Either with forearms down, slowly begin to come down onto the mat, or hands bending elbows as close as you can in as you slowly lower and lengthen the legs behind you. So now you're down on the mat. All right. Get yourself set up so you're comfortable. Hands by the chest. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, but lift those elbows up. Now hover the hands, use your core, push the tops of the feet into the mat, lift the head and chest. Keep drawing the shoulders together, breathe. Exhale, slowly release. Good. Keep using your core, keep pushing into the tops of the feet. Hover the hands, draw those shoulders together, lift the head and chest up. Breathe deep. Exhale, slowly release. All right, last time. Hover the hands, push the tops of the feet into the mat, lift up through the core and the chest, and the head, breathe. All right, one deep breath, you should lift up, and then exhale, release down. Arms out, gaze to the right. Come back to center, forehead or chin. Now gaze to the left. Good, come back to center. Gaze over to the right. Notice how the neck's releasing. How the shoulders might feel different as you rotate. Come back to center, forehead or chin. Then over to the left. Notice how different this side may feel. Breathe deep. All right, forehead or chin back to the mat. Arms by your side. Same movement like we were doing in that last one, except instead of the hands hovering, you're gonna reach the arms up and back. It's gonna lift the head, the chest, and even the thighs are gonna lift. Good, exhale, slowly release down. Again, using your core, lift the legs, reach the arms up and back, breathe deep. Exhale, slowly release. Lift back up, reaching arms, lifting legs, breathe. Exhale, release. One last time, lift up, reach the arms up and back, feel the chest lifting, those legs are lifting. One more deep breath, and then gently release. Hands in by your side, come back up to hands and knees. From hands and knees, come into a wide leg child's pose. Notice how that feels, notice how your body feels, soften and release. If the knees are really wide, bring them in just a little bit so you have enough room to rock your hips side to side. Let the head gently rock on the mat along with those hips. The next time the hips come to the right, pause. Really push them over to that side, and then start to walk your hands in the opposite direction. So they start to go over to the left. Now that right arm may be there for you to rest your head, or maybe you want the head to be on the mat, that's okay. But keep lengthening and reaching through those arms. Keep pushing back towards that right hip. And feel how this right side is opening. And this left side is shortening and closing as the body's kind of crunching together. Good, one more deep breath. Slowly walk the hands back to center, draw the hips back to center. Readjust legs if you need to, and then rock your hips again side to side. Next time they come to the left, pause, push those hips over to the left, walk your hands over to the right. And again, maybe your head wants to rest on this left arm, or maybe it's more comfortable down on the mat. But keep lifting, keep lengthening through the arms. And now feel how that left side is opening, and now this right side is starting to shorten. Good, come back to center with the hands, back to center with the hips. Take one deep breath, and then come back up to hands and knees. And come on down. All right, get set up. Move any props that might be in your way. You're gonna do a round of windshield wipes to end practice. So arms come out at T, feet wide, spread and lift the toes and then release them. Draw the core down. Exhale, lower to the right with the knees, gaze to the left. If you want to draw this bottom foot, which is the right foot, onto that top thigh, which is the left thigh, you can. But if it's too much, do not do it. Always listen and honor your body. Then you'll exhale, you'll draw the foot down first, then inhale, draw the knees back to center. Realign, readjust, re-engage. Then lower to the left, gaze to the right. Again, that bottom foot, which is the left this time, can come onto that top thigh, which is the right. Breathe. If it's too much, please honor your body and listen to it. Exhale, the foot comes down first, then inhale, the knees come back up to center. So just flow through these movements. You can add this in if that feels comfortable for you, but if it doesn't, please don't. Some days we're just in a more sensitive state. Some days our body just feels different, and that's okay. One more round. And when you come over to the right, pause. Stay there for as long as your body desires. Maybe it's 3 breaths, maybe it's 5. And then do the same thing on the other side. Never feel rushed to come in or out of the pose. And when you've done both sides equally, walk the feet in closer, and then draw the knees in, and you can rock side to side. Wrapping the arms around if that feels good. And if there's any last movements you desire or would like to do before going into Shavasana, please allow yourself this time. But do not feel rushed. Do not feel like you have to do anything else. And when you're ready for Shavasana, get yourself set up, lengthening the body, using any props that you would like. Maybe you want to cover up because you're cold. Maybe you have an eye pillow and you want to cover the eyes. Maybe you need something for underneath of the knees. So allow yourself to set up. And just make sure that the hands are a little bit away from the body. Maybe the palms will face up to help soften and relax the shoulders. Maybe let the feet come a little bit away from the body so it also relaxes. But when you're ready, start to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Digest your practice and enjoy this little time of rest. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Before opening the eyes, start to wiggle fingers and toes, stretching out the body little bit by little bit. And when you're ready to bend the knees and roll over onto one side, please do so. But don't feel rushed to get here. Take your time awakening. Take a few deep breaths on your side. when you're ready, push yourself gently up into a seated posture of your choice. When you're ready, you can open the eyes or keep them closed. And just draw your hands into prayer. And I want you to thank yourself for giving yourself this time, carving it out just for you. It's not easy, especially when we're home all day long, and it's easy to just lay around or to do a million other things. So thank yourself, bow to yourself for your efforts, to your ease, just to everything you fed your body, connecting back with mind, body, and spirit. And I am incredibly grateful to have you, for you to let me guide you out of all the million videos and all the million classes you could be taking. I thank you. That light in me sees that same beautiful divine light burning in you. It connects us. It shows there's no difference in this moment. We are one. Namaste.